Good day, sirs and ma. I want to welcome us to GES 174. Uh, Today's class is purposely on our exam, the coming exam, is going to be on the revision for the exam. We started with pastor and church sound this semester. We discussed how important church sound to pastoral ministry. So we talk about how church sound looks like, how we can correct some wrongs, and some other things like that. We also talks about how to extend our congregation beyond the wall, the steps we can use to extend our congregation beyond the wall. We discuss how we can project as well. So, and some other topics that we are yet to talk about, I will talk about them in this revision. I will talk about that particular topic. I will also do a kind of revision on that. Let me start with how we can extend our congregation beyond the wall. Assuming if we are asked to explain how we can extend our congregation beyond the wall, I mentioned 5 points to us that we can extend our congregation beyond the wall through capturing. Capturing is in 3 places: capturing of the video, audio, and also the picture taking. When we are talking about extending our congregation beyond the wall, we are talking about how we can evangelize beyond our local church. You may be assigned to a church which maybe your population is not more than 100, 200, 1,000, but the Bible says, "Go ye and make the disciples of all nations." We are not only attached to the limited people. God is sending us to the whole world. That is the reason why we need to extend our congregation beyond the wall. So when we make our services to be important by recording the audio, the video, and also taking the picture of the event that happens in our services, it will help us to extend our congregation beyond the wall. Today, when you record your audio or you live stream your video, so many people is going to be connected with you, and through that you already extend your congregation beyond the wall. We have some churches today that they are of maybe 1,000 as a member, but they have millions members in diaspora that they are part of their church. Even we have some churches that those that carry them, talking about the financial aspect, they are not mainly their church member. It's just that because of the opportunity of extending their congregation beyond the wall, they are able to reach some other people and they are able to bless other people outside, which has added to them in their finance and some other areas as well. So we need to take the recording of the audio, we need to take the recording of the video, and also take the picture of the event that happens. Through that, we're able to extend our congregation beyond the wall. Because when you record it down, people can listen to the audio, people can watch the video. Even the pastor also will be able to even listen to what he or she has preached. Maybe he's preaching heresy or he needs to make correction in one way or the other. Through that, he will also able to get some certain things and also correct him herself on one area or the other. So another point is duplicate. When we record down, we need to make a duplicate of what we have recorded down. Although this era is not about CD era again, because everything is on soft copy, but still here we still make use of the CDs. We need to make duplicates of what we have recorded down. So when we make duplicate by duplicating what we have recorded down on the CD, we can able to give it out to people. Today we buy music, we just get to the store and you get a particular music. So if the master has been done does not make a duplication of such master. Nobody will be able to have access to it. But today we can listen to different songs on CD today. When you are playing, going on your car, you can play the CD. When you are at home, you can watch the movie and the rest like that. So we need to make a duplicate of what we have recorded down. That is what the second point is telling us, that's making of multiple copies so that people can have access to it beyond your member. So that is what the second point is talking about. The third point is talking about the archive. Archive is what we refer to as a library. When you are talking about archive, we are talking about a library that you need to have a store, or where you can keep at least a copy of what you have recorded down, so that one day, one time, anytime you can go back there and listen to it again. It also serves as a reference for you. Sometimes you may need anything from such recording, you're able to go back to it and check quickly. So we need to have archive, which serves as a library for all our recording, so that even pastor coming can listen to it, anybody coming to come and check can also listen to it. It also helps pastors too that want to write books. For some of all these great men of God that you see that have so many books, it's not that all of them have time to write. Those messages that they have preached, that in the archive, they will go back to it and they will begin to turn them to books. So that is what most of them use all the time to come on. They will only add little flesh to it, and before you know it, it's already a book. So also our video audio that we post online is also an example of archive to us also. If you go back to your Facebook now, you go and check your history, you will see those things that you have been posting all this while is in your archive. So posting online is also an example of archive too. So that is talking about the third point. The fourth point is our website. It is good for any ministry or a church to have a website. When you have a church or a ministry that you are running, it is good for you to have a website so that people can know what you believe. Having a website will help people that want to connect with you to know more about you. People, if I come to your Newland today and I'm looking for a church to join, I can easily search online and check churches. It is Baptist, it is Redeemed, it is Winners. What church do I want to join? If I see anyone that have what I believe or that goes with my faith, then that particular church is what I will join. But it's a pity today that most of the churches in Nigeria or even the locality around there, they are not on website. We don't have a website, which is not good enough. As a church, as a ministry, we need to have a website where we're able to put all what we believe in. All our videos, all our newsletters about us, our mission, our everything supposed to be on our website, so that people will be able to know more about us. They will be able to navigate and say, okay, so church believing. Even from there, we can also get grants from those that want, the philanthropists that want to help. Like some people, they will not come to you one-on-one, but when they check online and they see, okay, these people, they love mission. This fire, me too, I also love mission. Let me donate to them. So we've seen people like that donating to some ministry that love mission. Okay, this ministry love music. Let me donate. Let me help them. So it's a way of making our church known to everyone. So the website is the first one. The last one there is the social media. The social media is one of the fastest way of spreading out the gospel today. Is a way that everyone can preach the gospel. It's not limited to a church, not to a pastor, not to a group of people. Now individuals Even if you are shy, you can make a video of like the one I'm doing right now. I can decide to preach 5 minutes preaching, do a kind of 5 minute exhortation, 2 minutes, and post it online. So uh, using social media for our services, streamline our services is very, very important that other people can connect with us on our Facebook page, on MySpace, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. We can do that. That even we can have a limited numbers like 150 worshippers, and we have thousands of people connecting with us outside, listening to us outside. Through that, we're able to gain more soul. We're able to win more soul for Christ. So that is how we can extend our work uh, beyond the congregation. We can extend it through that. So when we able to match all these 5 points I'm able to talk about, through that we're able to extend our congregation beyond the wall. We're able to have more people connecting with us. We have some pastors today that they don't have a physical church. They don't have any physical church, but they have members that beyond those that have a physical church. So let's try as much as possible to do that for our ministry, also for our church. So that is that about how we can extend our work beyond the congregation. We under the church sound, let me go back to church sound. Under the church sound, we talk about some of the essential equipment that we can use or that has been used for our church sound. When you talk about the essential equipment for church sound, we are talking about the speakers, we talk about the amplifier, we talk about the mixer, we talk about the snare, we talk about the microphones, equalizer, compressors, and the rest like that. Those are the essential equipment that we can use for our church sound. So those are the essential equipment that we can use for our church sound. What are other things that we can also do about the church sound? How we can reduce the feedback. When we are talking about the feedback in church sound, we are talking about the noise. So don't let us forget that. So we are not talking about the feedback speakers. So don't let us get confused about that. So how can we reduce the feedback? How can we reduce noise? So we talk about turning down the volume. We can turn down the volume of on the mixer of that particular one that is giving us the problem, or we reduce the gain. On the button on the mixer, we have different buttons there that we control. We have the gain, we have the mid, we have the frequency, we have the high, we have the low, which is bass. So we can reduce the gain. We can reduce the gain. So we can also reduce our equalizer, checking our equalizer, whether it's the bass that is too much, whether it's the treble that is too much. Also, we can also remove or move away our microphone from when it's very close to the speaker. On the part of the speaker, we can also take our microphone away from that because we have different type of microphone. There are some that easily attract noise from microphone, and also we have some different quality of microphones too. There are some that easily attract noise, which is feedback from speakers too. So we can move away our microphones also away from speaker. So also we can check our equalizer to see which one is making noise too. So the reverb also, sometimes when we have reverb, which is referred to as echo, we can also check it. If it is reverb, we can easily turn down or reduce the gain of that reverb so that it can reduce the echo. So, and also the most important aspect of it is that we have a good qualified engineer. When we have a good qualified engineer, it is going to help us to do all the necessary things in that area. So that is how to reduce the feedback. That is how to reduce the feedback. So we've talked about how we can extend our congregation beyond the wall. We also talk about sand. We've raised two things under sand also. The next thing we are going to talk about is the social media. We are going to talk about the positive impact of the social media on the church. We talk about the negative impact and how church members use social media. So when we talk about the positive impact of the social media on the church, we are talking about how social media unites the church together. So if at all you are asked to mention or list the impact of the social media on the church, it has united the church members. It has brought many people into the church. It has facilitated knowledge about the church to other members because people will get to know your church more when they see your church on one social media or the other. So people, you can decide to post something about your church, about your belief, or a flyer about the oncoming program. So unbeliever also is going to be more uh, have knowledge about your church. So they can also be invited through that means. So we also reach out to so many people, convert them. Even so many people that got born again today, it is not through one-on-one preaching. Maybe it's through social media. Some people just came about one thing or the other on social media, and through that they give their life to Christ. So it also is a very speedy way of reaching out to everyone. You can easily communicate with every member of the church. You can share the gospel, anybody can share the gospel. So those are the positive impacts of social media to the church. Talking about the negative impact of the social media, you can see that it brings about using phone in the church. Many people bring their phone to the church and be pressing even while the services is going on. You see people chatting, doing several things on the phone. So even you see sometimes pastor taking phone to record video, audio, or taking pictures. So it makes people also to lose their focus on God because when they are pressing phone, posting while service is going on, their attention is being taken away from God. So it makes people to lose their focus from God also. It's also very expensive to manage. When you are talking about the social media for a church to manage is very expensive because of buying some gadgets, they will get maybe phone, they will get laptop, data, and some other things they may need to manage that. It can also cripple church finance for a church that is not buoyant enough and they want to engage in social media. So you can cripple their finance because when they are looking for money to get a laptop or to get a good phone or even a camera, looking for money for data and the rest like that, it can cripple church finance. So it can make church to get associated with negative propaganda. I've talked about this during class also. There's some propaganda that is going on in the church through the social media. People can easily misquote what the pastor or what someone has said in the church, and it can cause a lot of things. So it can also be of that too. So those are the areas that we talk about as a negative impact of the social media on the church. So we also talk about what church member use social media for. What do we use social media for? You may be asked that. You should mention what church member use social media for. We use it for fundraising. You can do your fundraising on social media. You can use it to grow our member. Grow our member in the sense that when you have a program, you can put your flyers on Instagram, on Twitter, on any of the social media, and people will get to know more about your program or about your church. You can also use it to invite people to your church too. So we can share programs of activities and some other things through our social media. We can also use it to share prayer requests. When we have one social media or the other, like Facebook, WhatsApp, we can use it to share prayer requests. Uh, then other people can have access to it. We can also use it to share gospel. So sharing of the gospel within the church member or over social media, that everyone will be able to have access to it. So we can use it for communication too, communication among the church members. You notice that when someone is having their birthday today, you see someone in UK, in America, or any other part of the world also congratulating that person that is having one program or the other. The distance is no longer a barrier when you come to social media. Anybody can congratulate you or talk to you or partake in one chat or the other. So those are the areas that church members or what church members use social media for. So we've talked about three things now. We talked about how we can extend our church beyond the world. We've also talked about pastor and church sound, and we've talked about the uh, social media too. We talked about the positive, the negative, and how church members use social media. So the next thing we are going to talk about now is computer networking. Computer networking is a topic that we have not discussed at all in the class. I'm going to discuss the topic and also do a kind of little relation on that. When we are talking about networking, we are talking about connection of two or more things together. So networking basically is connection of two or more things together. When you have two, three, four that you want to connect together, you want them to have the same belief, have same common purpose. That is what we refer to as networking. So when we now talk about computer networking, we are talking about connection of two or more computers together in order to share resources. When you connect two or more computers together in order to share resources, that's what we mean by computer networking. When you have more than two systems and you want them to share resources, like transferring a file from one computer to another. So we can use computer networking for that. We have different type of computer networking. We have local area network, we have personal area network, we have metropolitan area network, we also have wide area network. When we are talking about local area network, we are talking about a kind of network that we use networking cable for. I think all of us know networking cable that we can connect to our system to another system, that we're able to share resources. Through that, we're able to transfer files, music, and some other things from one system to another. So that is through local area network. The second one is personal area network. When we are talking about personal area network, we are talking about the network that you create yourself, like your Bluetooth, your sender, and some other network within you. Is a personal area network, is a network that you create yourself. That's why it's being referred to as personal area network. Like Bluetooth now, we send resources from one phone to another, even from one system also to another through Bluetooth. And through that, both of them can connect to one another, they can share resources. Even your phone with your earbud is in networking too, because you can easily receive call without putting your phone in your ear and working, you are making call, listening to music with your Bluetooth. So that is personal area network. You can connect with two, three, or multiple people at a time. So maybe through sender, when you want to send one thing or the other to one another, that is personal area network. When we are talking about the third one, we are talking about the metropolitan area network. Metropolitan area network is talking about a network that is beyond your local area. Is a network of city. We refer to as a city network. For example, now this is Oyo, a network that comprises of all Oyo together. Like you, maybe Ibadan is our base, and you have a branch at Oyo, we have a branch at Ilora, we have another branch at maybe Fiditi like that. So, and the head office is at Ibadan. All of them, they are going to be communicating together, sharing resources. This mostly happen in banks. You know, in banks, they will be telling you, we've not heard from our head office at Ibadan, our head office at so they want to receive message, they want to do this. So it's being referred to as metropolitan area network, where they can connect together in a city so that we'll be able to share resources and communicate. This one is being used over a radio. You can see the mass. Talking about the mass, that is the radio mass. That's what they use because of the distance. Because it's not something that is very close by that we can use cable for. It's not something that is very close by that we can use wireless for. So it's a far distance. We use a radio network to share resources for such networking so that from one end to another, they were able to send and receive response from one another. So that is a metropolitan area network. The another one, which is wide area network, we are talking about the network of all network. That is a global network. That is a one all of us is using to communicate with one another today. There is no any barrier that a local place within a city. You can easily communicate with someone in America. Someone in America can easily communicate with you. You can search things online and you get a response immediately. So that's what we refer to as a wide area network. The last one here is wide area network. Wide area network is referred to as a network of all network, which can connect to anybody anywhere. There is no limitation of personal, limitation of metropolitan or the local area. It's a connection that comprises the global, which you can connect with someone in America, in London, in Europe, in England, and such like that. So we refer to as wide area network because it's network of all network. You can be chatting with someone in Australia and you'll be receiving your response immediately. So that is that about computer networking. We have what we refer to as advantage and disadvantage of networking. Each of them have advantage and disadvantage, like local area network, personal area network, metropolitan, and wide area network. But I'm giving us a general advantage and disadvantage of all this based on our exams. So when we talk about advantage of computer networking, we are talking about advantage and disadvantage of the computer networking. So when we are talking about the advantage, we are talking about the communication across the network is cheaper and faster. You know, you can easily send things from one system to the other. You can easily send it. It's like now. Let's use a for example. Maybe you want to send something of 50 gig, and you don't even have flash that you can use for that. You don't even have flash that you can use, or if you want to even to get flash, you are going to go and buy. You know how much you are going to get a flash of 50 gig, of 100 gig. But you can send a document price worth 50, 100 gig, even more than that, to another system in very fast, in a short time. So communication across the network is cheap and fast. Software can also be shared on 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 the system. So you can have a server that have the software and it's being shared over all other network that other network have access to such software. Sometimes there are some software that they have just only one user. If you want to have multiple users, you are going to pay for them. So you can get just only one user and it's being shared over all the system. We use such in our account department too here, where we have the server and other system that is connected to the server can also get their resources there. So another thing is that terminal are cheaper than have a self-done PC. When you have a terminal and you have a server, when you have a server, you can just have a complete server and the rest terminal, you just have maybe your monitor and your keyboard. So there is no going to be any CPU or any printer that you be using all over. So you just have your monitor and your CPU, your keyboard that you'll be using. So another thing is that peripherals such as printer can also be shared. And you have printer, you have scanner, you can share it over a network. So you can share that over a network that you don't need to have multiple printers and office convey. There is one printer here, there is one. No, we go to bank. As bank is as rich, they don't have multiple printers. You check bank. Maybe you see one printer in all as big as the bank and they have money but they just get just only one printer. Right? If someone will be sending upstairs, they will come and pick whatever is sending downstairs. So the printers, such a printer can be shared on the network. That is the advantage. We still have more advantage, but let's talk about that. Talking about the disadvantage of the computer network, when we talk about disadvantage, we are talking about the that is expensive, like cabling. Cabling is expensive to install and to replace. Sometimes when the cable is being broken, it may be hard to replace because of the expense. Uh, it's expensive in nature. So sometimes when it's hard for us to locate where the cable is being broken, it's also a big issue also as well. So the cabling aspect is a lot of disadvantage. Also, for the wireless aspect, so security measures are also needed. So when you are connected to one another, you have already open yourself to other system. So in such a way, you need to see the security measure need to be put in place. So if you don't have the full knowledge of what a network is all about, it's going to cost you a lot. Your document can be stolen, your document can be tampered with when you are open to another system. So hackers can also send virus to your system. So that's why you see that so many systems is being infected with different virus when they browse online. So it's very easily contacted virus. Even those one that is not online, when you are connected to another system, you can easily get virus. You can easily get virus. So that is that about computer networking. The next thing we are going to talk about is about projection. How we can project. How we can project. When we are talking about projection, we are talking about how we can project maybe in the church or anywhere. Anywhere how we can connect things together. To project is very simple when you have your laptop and you have some other things that you need to attach to like HDMI cable, VGA cable, splitter, your screen if you are using projector, if you are using monitor or you are using a flat screen. So we'll talk about how we can project, how to connect all those things together. But the purpose of the exam, let me just narrow it down to some of the gadgets that you need for projection. And under this, I'm going to talk about the converter. The converter, some of the converter that we need for projection. Some of the converter that we need for projection. If you want to project, some of these camera that we are using, it have different facilities that you can use to connect to one system or to project. Like even after you want to project, you bring your system, you see that system is having different ports, which is different from what you're having. So we need some of this converter to convert it to what we need to do. We have what we refer to as VGA, we have what we refer to as HDMI, we have AV, we have DVR. So all these ports, they are very important and we're supposed to know more about them. Sometimes you may have a system that does not have VGA and you want to project on it. How will you do it? So you need a converter that will be able to convert from VGA to HDMI. Or you want to convert from HDMI, maybe your system does not have HDMI, your system has VGA. So you need to use HDMI to VGA to convert it. So I will mention some of the converter that we have. I will mention some of those converters that we have. So like we have HDMI to VGA converter. We have VGA to HDMI converter. You see that I've talked about, it looks like the same, but they are not the same. HDMI to VGA. So it shows that the input is HDMI, the output is VGA. So we also have VGA to HDMI. That is, the input is VGA, the output is HDMI. So we also have HDMI to AV, AV to HDMI. So one is input, one is output. So we also have AV to VGA, VGA to AV. So one is input in that manner, one is also output. So we also have SDI to HDMI, SDI to VGA, SDI to AV. So as we have it for input, also we also have it for output. So when we we can mention different types of the converter that we have, that you can convert. Maybe you are having AV and you want to convert it to HDMI. It's very easy to do that. You just use converter to convert it from AV to HDMI. So that is that is all those things that we need, that we can use for our projection. And to project, you just need your laptop. You need a projecting software such as maybe Easy Worship, PowerPoint. You need some of these projection software. You need video sound. So those are the programs that we can use for our projection. And we also need to test whether our system can project also, that your graphics of your system is being installed. If the graphics is not installed, that is your second monitor, you will not be able to project. Right? Sometimes you want to project and you notice that you can't project. You'll be thinking that this is open issue. There is no open issue anywhere on that. Some of us will go for outreach, but when you get to the outreach, that's when you notice that your system cannot project. You're unable to project the film you want people to see. It's not that it's hard work of the devil. No, you need to know whether your system have VGA. Is your VGA being installed on your system before you try to project? So if you want to know whether your VGA is being installed or not, press the window key and P. It will give you 4 things. What are those 4 things that it's going to give you? It's going to give you PC screen only, it's going to give you duplicates, it's going to give you extend, and also second screen only. First, PC only means that your display is going to be on a screen of the laptop. That is the PC screen only. It will not project to the second screen that you be attached to it. Duplicate means that it's going to, whatever you are able to see on your PC screen, that's what it will also project on the other screen. Talking about the extend, that is the one we normally use in church to project, so that people don't see what we do at the back end. So we put it on extend. Extend shows that it's only something that we want other people to see, that they will see. So they don't see whatever we are doing. Yeah, we want to project some, want to, it's only those things that I can be watching film and still yet be projecting to you. You not even know. I can be typing document and still be projecting. I can be doing some other things and still be projecting. So when we use extend, we're able to do that. And the second screen only means that you can project only on the second screen. So that's only that you project only on second screen. For the purpose of our exam, let's try to talk about the converter, the necessary converter that we will need for projection of media, the converter that we will need for the media. Let's also talk about the MP3 and audio CD. The MP3 and audio CD. When we are talking about MP3, we are talking about a MP3 CD is a data CD that contains the digital music in MP3 format. As such, can only be played on computer, and a file that supports MP3 file, a machine or a gadget or a player that supports MP3 player. I want us to get it very well. When we are talking about the MP3 CD, you know we have the audio CD, we have the MP3 CD, but they are not the same. Uh, when in those days, most of our MP3 CD cannot play the audio CD. Most of the audio CD cannot play MP3 CD, but they are not of the same format. So when we are talking about the MP3 CD, we are talking about a CD that contains a digital music in MP3 audio format, and it can only be played on CD that supports the audio file of MP3. So also for the audio CD too. The audio CD is kind of CD that contains a raw music. The raw music is the uncompressed digital music. When we talk about the audio CD, we are talking about the CD that contains uncompressed digital music. So when we now talk about the similarity or the difference between the audio CD and the MP3 CD, we are talking about the player that can play the two. So there is a separate player that can play audio CD, and also the player that can also play video CD. As we mentioned in their definition, that is just the difference between the two. And also audio CD, when we talk about the audio CD read in minutes, while MP3 read in size. You read in size. Like audio CD now, when you sing for 80 minutes. When your music is 80 minutes, your music may not be more than 100 megabytes. But when you reach 80 minutes, that is the end for audio CD. It does not beyond 80 minutes. That is 1 hour 20 minutes. That's what about for MP3, you can copy music worth of 700 megabytes. As long as your music is no more than 700 megabytes, you can have 100 songs in a CD. But in audio CD, you can have just only one song that's just 120 minutes. So that is the end. So that is another difference between the audio CD and the MP3 CD. Lastly, or let me say, it remains two aspects. But the reason why I say lastly is that we've talked about this in our first semester, talking about some of the formulas that we use maybe in Excel. So let me just discuss 2 or 3 formulas for us. If you remember in our first semester, we talked about some of the formulas. Like if you want to add things together now, if you want to add 2 numbers together, we use the cell form, maybe cell A1 plus cell B1. So if we are asked to mention the formula for adding up, we should be able to say maybe cell A1 plus cell B1. So that is the formula. Formula for sum. If you want to add sum means that it's more than 2. When it's more than 2, then you use sum. If we use something that is more than 2 for addition, it will not is not applicable because when assuming you want to add like 100 numbers together, are we going to be using 1 plus 2, 2 plus 3 plus 4 like one A1 plus B1 plus C1 plus D1? No, we can make mistake and anything can happen on the way. So we can easily use the sum SUM, which equals to SUM, open the bracket, C1 column C10. C1 column C10, then you close the bracket and you get your answer. So that is the formula for sum. If you want to use formula for sum, you can easily use that. And also, I also gave us other formula for multiplication too. I gave us that you want to multiply numbers together, you can say A1 multiplied by A2. You get your answer. If you want to divide also, A1 divided by A2, you get your answer. Division, subtraction, and the rest like that. All of them have formula. But I give us another formula which is very, very important, which is called if function. If function that we can use for grade. Assuming we are given a formula that you can use for a grade. I will give us one example of formula that we can use for a grade. So like if you want to come out with a grade like maybe A, B, C, or you want to use excellent, very good, good, credit, and the rest like that. So we have a formula that we can use for that. It's being called if function. If function. So like we want to start the formula, you say equals to, if equals to, where your total is where you are going to use for that particular formula. Like for example, now if your total is on E, let's assume that you have your first column maybe for your CA1, which is A, second column for your CA2, which is B, third column for your cumulative, which is C, you have fourth column for your exam, which is D, and you have fifth column, which is E for your total. So with that, you will now say, okay, equals to if E2 or E1 is equal to 69. 69 means that if we say that if E2 is greater, E2 or E1 greater than 69. Greater than 69 means that you want to quote A now. You want to quote A. What we say that greater than 69. So if you quote greater than 70, that shows that anybody that scores 70 will not be applicable, will not have it. So we are going to use one number lower, than greater than 69. That shows that anybody that scored above 69 is what we refer to as A. Anybody that scored above 69. So we now say if A1 greater than 69, then you quote and you put your what you want to use. Maybe it's excellent, maybe it's A, or something that you want to refer to as that. You quote it, then you put comma. Let me repeat it again because it's the same formula that you are going to use for the whole. Say equals to if you open your brackets. A1 greater than 69, comma, then you open quotes, you put your A, then you put your quotes, then you put comma. That is just about the formula. So that is just the end about that particular formula. Is that the same formula that you will repeat for all of them? So then you now open another bracket again. You say A2 greater than 59. You know the first one is 69. So we are using 10 interval now. If you like, you can be using 5 interval. So I'm using 10 interval. So open bracket again, A2 greater than 59, comma, then you quote B and you hang your quotes too. You put another comma. So you say if again, open the bracket, E2 or E1, anywhere that you use for your listing, greater than 49. Then you put comma, you open quotes, which is C, you close your quotes, comma again. You open another if you open bracket A1 greater than 44. Now I've reduced it to 5 interval. But if it is certain interval that you want to use, we can decide to use 10 interval to the end. So I reduce it to 5 interval now. I aim to greater than 44. That shows that anybody that score 45 will have D. So greater than 44, then I put comma, I quote, I put D, I end the quote. So comma again, if I open the bracket, E2 greater than 39, then I put comma, open the quote, end the quote. Greater than 39 shows that anybody that score 40 will have E. So the last one, which is if, open the bracket, now put A2 less than 40. Less than 40. That shows that anybody that score less than 40 is going to have what we want to put now. Then you put comma, you now put the quote F, and then we end the quote. You now count the number of the bracket that you open. You know, we just open our bracket, we didn't close it. So you count the number of brackets that you have opened, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have opened 6 brackets, then you now close all those brackets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You press enter, then you get your answer. So that is the formula for if function. So if at all you are asked to give formula, I've given us like 5 formulas for different ones now. So if you will be asked for any of the formulas, then you'll be able to give to operates. So lastly, I will talk about the important issues on ICT in the church. The important issue on ICT in the church. What are the important issues that the ICT need to address in the church? The important issue that ICT need to address in the church. No, I think that we talk about little things about this because we understand that the ICT strategy for the church growth need to address some certain things. Like we need to be using our ICT for evangelism. Evangelism. I just concluded Nigeria Baptist Convention program now. You can see that we're able to use ICT to reach out to so many people. Anybody that is not available for that convention can easily watch it. I also I watch the program here in my office. So I'm not being opportune to go for convention, but I was opportune to be part of it because I was able to watch it online. So the church need to address that. We need to see to it that how we can use ICT to reach out to so many people, to evangelize, to spread the gospel and the rest. So that's mainly what we are talking about in this topic, that the important issues on ICT in the church. That the church need to see to computer literacy program for members to enhance their use of internet. So it's only that we are just coming to church, pray and go home. No, church is beyond that. We need to see to how we educate ourselves in one area or the other too. So the church need to see to how they can educate or promote the well-being of their members through the computer literacy. So how they can use the internet, how they can use it for outreach and the rest like that. So that is one. Number two is that church also need to cater for the all proportional of young members. You know, when you have the young members in the church, they have interest more in using of ICT and the rest. Most of them want to use internet when they are within the church, when they want to use. So church need to make available such like internet facilities in the church. We need to have a kind of a room for all this in the church so that people can easily have access to one computer or the other. We have some churches that have computer centers, that have computer hall or computer room in their church. So all churches are supposed to have this. Also, some of the churches also have internet facility that when you get to their church, you can easily connect with the internet. So church need to see to this. It's one of those things that we need to address. We see to. So I've talked about the mission before, so that church need to have use internet facility for missions. You know, those are in the mission field, they are facing a lot of things. But we can communicate with them, we can help them even to do some certain things. Maybe for counseling, follow up or something else. Someone can be in the city and be counseling those are there. We can do a program if we think that okay, pastor cannot go there, pastor can we can help connect with the program for Bible study and some other things. You know, when a missionary is in the bush or in a remote area, he may not have the knowledge of everything. Maybe we want to learn some members they want to learn musical instruments, some members want to learn this, some members want to learn this. And all of these delegates we can't send them to mission field. But we can connect them. We can have someone that is expert in music in the city that will be teaching them from the city. So they will just connect over the internet and they will be able to learn. Bible study we can do it over there. Prayer meeting we can do it over there so that we relieve even those that are up there. So we can and seeing some of these people online it also help. It also help that okay we connect with our center so you can see the deeper life they are what of this that they watch their programs online. So it's more likely and also encourage others too. So church can also set up team to do all that. So when we are talking about important issue, those are the areas that we are talking about. That church should have kind of a good security atmosphere for church member in terms of using uh, media gadgets for that. We use uh, ICT for our gospel. We train people on ICT, operating computer literacy. We organize a program for maybe 2 3 days a week, 3 weeks during holiday for people that want to learn maybe computer-based program, data processing and the rest, phone repairing and some of those things. When they're able to learn all those things and they also use it for themselves. So we need to see to all that so that things can move on in the church. So those are the areas that we church need to look into. Those are the areas that we should be expecting in our exam this semester. Our exam is going to be as cheap as we think of. It is not going to be tough at all. So, but let us make sure that we read and we write down the correct things. That's the most aspect of it. Please let us write down the correct answer that match the question asked. So, pray God will see us through. Thank you for listening and God bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Let's start. And let's start.